Hey party people, we're going to have a little fun again today. Don't go anywhere because I'm going to be answering your questions and responding to your comments. Pour yourself a drink, pull up a chair, and let's get into it. Hi everyone, I'm attorney Aiden Durham with 180 Law Co. in Colorado, and welcome back to All Up in Your Business. I got a lot of good feedback from my last video where I responded to your questions and comments, so I'm going to do it again. And I might just make this a regular monthly thing. We'll see how it goes. But you guys ask a lot of really good questions, and this is a great way for me to answer them without having to individually type answers to each one. So I think it's going to be a regular thing. Got a nice little surprise today too, because Bird is here with me for now. We'll see how long she sticks around, and maybe if we're lucky, Rocky might make a little guest appearance too. I don't know, he's been sleeping upstairs all day. He's tired. I took him to the beach, but cross your fingers, maybe we'll see Rocky too. Bird, just hang out, would you? All right, let's get into some of your questions. Tiffany asked, well, she said, this information is very helpful. Thank you, Tiffany. Does the operating agreement have to be turned into someone, or do I just keep it for my records? So for the most part, an operating agreement, you're just going to hold on to that for your records. I'm not aware of any state that actually requires that you file it with the Secretary of State or anything like that. There might be one, but I don't know of any. Some banks, though, do ask for a copy of your operating agreement when you try to open a business bank account. If you get a loan, it might be needed. So some places might ask for it, but as far as I know, none of the states actually require it. We just want to hold on to it for our records, refer back to it if something comes up or if we're not sure how to handle something. Thanks for the video. Do you need to run a business to either trademark or copyright a logo? Let's say you own a car club with some thousands of members. Is there a way to register the logo? What's your advice? Great question. So typically we think of trademarks having to do with businesses. In trade, a mark for trade, but there is a way to register a trademark for a membership club, something like that. There's a specific class of goods and services with the USPTO for a membership mark. Basically, you're registering it, and it means that this logo indicates that you are a member of this club. So yes, assuming the logo is available for registration, you can register a trademark for a club or membership too. Oh, Bird, come on. All right, Bird's out of here. Bye, Bird. Whatever, Bird. What about the disclaimer, I don't own the rights to this song or video clip? I love these kinds of questions. So I see this a lot on Facebook and Instagram, people doing lives or something, and they'll have music playing in the background, and they'll say something like, I do not own the rights to this song, and think that that's good enough, but it's not. Acknowledging that you don't own the right to use music is simply that. You're acknowledging that you don't have the right to use something. This came up in my video about fair use and how you can sometimes rely on the fair use doctrine to use music or images or video clips in your content without a license. But again, just saying that you don't have the right to use it doesn't mean that you now have the right to use it. So those disclaimers mean absolutely nothing. If anything, you're simply acknowledging that you don't have a license to use that work. Do you need a business license to run a Shopify store in California? I don't know. I'm not licensed in California, but I would assume to some extent there might be some business license or permitting requirements either in your city or your county maybe. If you're doing a Shopify store, then I'm assuming you're selling goods, which are typically subject to sales tax. So if nothing else, you probably need a sales tax license or a sales tax permit. But I would definitely suggest talking to an attorney who's registered in or licensed in California for more help with that. Hi Aiden, trademark question for you. I'm filing a new trademark that's almost identical to my existing trademark but has a slight variation. Normally the two names companies are so similar, it would be rejected as a way to file them as related so I can have both. Yes, there is. Great question. So on the trademark application, on the section where you're describing the trademark or uploading an image of the logo or the design mark, there's a section at the bottom for miscellaneous statements. If you click a little checkbox, it expands those miscellaneous statements. Claim of prior registration is one of those options. And so if you're registering a trademark that's the same or really similar to one of your other registered trademarks, then you can check that box and put in the registration numbers of your other registrations. That lets the USPTO know I own those too, so don't worry about it. If you're writing a check from your business, do you sign it as your name or the company's name? Does anyone know? I know. You sign your own name on the check. Certainly the company's name should be, at the top of the check. It should be the company's information, but the company doesn't have hands, doesn't have any way to hold a pen, so the company can't sign. You sign your own individual name on a check. You're signing on behalf of the company. Here's a good one, folks. I'm just pointing this one out because it's rude. I refer to, when I'm talking about business owners or trademark registrants, I often refer to them as she, because I'm a she. There are plenty of she's who own businesses. This person apparently has an issue with that. Whatever he wants. Nope, it's whatever. It's also my channel, so it's whatever she wants. I wish people will not go on YouTube if they have nothing to say. The irony of this comment, you guys. Yeah, I too wish people would not go on YouTube and comment if they have nothing to say. I have an EIN as a sole proprietor. Do I need a new EIN now that I have a LLC under the same name? So yes and no. Technically speaking, the IRS, if you're already operating as a sole proprietorship and you have an EIN, if you form a single member LLC, the IRS doesn't require that you get a new EIN. It doesn't matter to them. Your bank, however, might still require it. If you already had a business account for the sole proprietorship, now you're trying to open a new account for the LLC, your bank might want you to have a new EIN. So in some instances, you may still need one, but from the IRS's perspective, not required. So I've set up the bird. What are you doing? Bird's playing with her toy. So I have the business set up, LLC, got the EIN, got the articles, bank account, insurance. Do I need to register trademark too? No. There's no requirement that you register a trademark in order to do business. It's just a good idea in most instances. Miss Allie said, girl, you are so silly. I love you. That's nice. Thank you. I love you too. What do business attorneys charge per hour on average? I don't know specifically. I haven't looked at these statistics, but there can be really a wide range of hourly rates among attorneys and business attorneys as well. I would say you can expect to see anywhere from maybe 150 per hour up to maybe 400 per hour. But I've seen plenty of instances where if you're working with a very experienced attorney at a large law firm, their rates can be 800 or more per hour. Can I go from a sole proprietor to a corporation, or do I have to go from LLC to corporation? Nope, you can go from sole proprietor to corporation. It's not like a step thing that you sole proprietor, then LLC, then corporation. No need to do any of that. If you want to be a corporation, you can go from sole proprietorship to a corporation. Excellent explanations. Thank you. Well, just as trademark goes along with business name, does copyrights also go along the same way as do the trademarks? Moreover, this is said that trademark goes along with business registration. I'm not exactly sure what this is asking. Trademarks and copyrights are two very different things. I did a video recently where I gave examples of when something can be both protected by copyright and can be considered a trademark. So there are instances where copyrights and trademarks apply to one thing, but strictly speaking, a trademark is one thing, a copyright is a completely different thing. And business registration has pretty much nothing to do with either of those. Registering your business with a state does pretty much nothing in terms of protecting your business name as a trademark, and it does absolutely nothing with regard to copyright. But this next question, is it okay and legal to put R in a circle for registration and C in a circle for copyrights. No and yes. The copyright symbol, the little C in a circle symbol, anybody can use that to assert their copyrights in a work that's protected by copyrights. Copyrights arise as soon as the work is created, so we can all use that little C in a circle symbol. That R in a circle symbol, though, registered, that registration symbol is specifically for trademarks that are registered with the USPTO. If you don't have a trademark registration, like actually active, not just a pending application, you are not supposed to use that R in a circle symbol. If you do without a trademark registration, there can be, some issues that come up with that, potentially false advertising because you're putting it out there that this is a registered trademark when it's not. And if you have a pending application for that trademark and the USPTO sees that you're using the registration symbol, that could be grounds to cancel your application too. So don't use the R symbol unless you actually have a registered trademark for that mark. Let me know what you think. I think I love you. Oh, I think I love you too. I have a holding company in its infancy, not planning to take any distributions for several years. Will I have to sell some of my assets to pay taxes on gains, or only if I take distributions? So if you have assets or equipment assets and you sell them for a profit, then typically you do have to pay tax on the gain from that. But there's no gains tax due just by virtue of owning that asset. And that is separate from regular income tax that you might have to pay on the business's normal income. And that you have to pay regardless of whether or not you take a distribution, in most cases if you're taxed as a sole proprietorship or a partnership. Let's say I make an operating agreement saying a certain amount or percent of earnings, and let's say a month later the earnings increase. Can I amend the operating agreement to increase my own wage percent? So yes, you can, as long as it's in line with the terms of the operating agreement. In most cases, the operating agreement will say this thing can be amended upon a majority or unanimous consent of the members. So you need consent of the members to amend the operating agreement. If you're a single member LLC, then you are the majority and unanimous consent. So as long as you consent to it, you can amend the operating agreement however you want to. But really, most of the time, I don't recommend being that specific in your operating agreement when it comes to distributions, especially with a single member LLC. I like to give a lot of leeway. It will typically say something like the member may take distributions at whatever times and in whatever amounts the member decides, essentially. So it's up to your discretion when to take it, and not so specifically set forth in the operating agreement. That way you don't have to go back and amend it every time you want to adjust those distributions. If I have to put everything in the business account, can I use any of it for personal bills? Can I just withdraw? No, you can't use, don't pay anything personal out of your business account, you guys. That's a big no-no. Business account pays business expenses. Your personal account pays personal expenses. If you need to take some of that money for your personal use, then put it into your personal account. Take a distribution or a payroll if your tax is a corporation, but pay that money to yourself. Put it in your personal account before you spend it on any personal related bills or expenses. Business account, business bills. Personal account, personal bills. All right? Can you help me to register a trademark in the USA? I sure can. Of course, that's, pending any potential conflicts of interest, but 99% of the time I can absolutely help with registering a trademark in the United States. If you're interested in working with me, you can go to my website. I have a contact inquiry form there that you can submit to kind of get the ball rolling. You can also check out details of my all-inclusive trademark registration package. There's a link to that down in the description. Hi, and thank you for such useful information. You're welcome. In terms of the specimen, so we're talking trademarks here, you guys. In terms of the specimen, what should I upload if I sell more than one product, as well as different scents of each product? The USPTO only requires that you submit one specimen per class. So if you have a bunch of different products, but they all fall under one international class of goods and services, you only have to give one specimen for each class. So I just applied for my LLC, Secretary of State. Do I need a DBA for the name, or do I already have the name? Is there a need for a DBA? You only need a DBA if you want to do business under a name that's different from the name of the LLC. Think of a DBA as a nickname for your LLC. If you're operating under the LLC's name, then no need for the DBA. But if you want to do business as a different name, then you want to register the DBA. Can you trademark numerous numbers? For example, will I have to trademark 180 Law Co. and 181 Law Co. if I had two businesses that are the same but slightly different? Or can I trademark number Law Co.? So first of all, I wouldn't recommend trademarking 180 Law Co. because I own it, unless, if it's in a totally unrelated class of goods and services, and you'd probably be able to. But anyway, so let's pretend I have 180 Law Co. and I also want to do business as 181 Law Co. They are two different trademarks. So if I want equal rights for both of them, I should register both as separate trademarks. Practically speaking though, if I have a registration for 180 Law Co., which I do, if somebody else came in and tried to register 181 Law Co. for legal services, I can almost certainly say that the USPTO would see those as confusingly similar and would deny that registration because they're very closely related in services, obviously, and the marks themselves are almost identical except for the 180 versus 181. So if you're doing both and you want them both to have the same level of protection, it's a good idea to register both trademarks. But if they're that similar, it may not be absolutely necessary. You can't really register just blank number Law Co. or have like a space filler. There are some instances where you can kind of do that, but no, not really. You can't just have whatever number Law Co. Are we having fun yet, you guys? I know I am. Thank you for this amazing video, and I have a question for you. I'm here. How about I use the word boobs for my maternity clothes brand, and as a brand name and logo describes the boobs like this? You. Is there any restriction that we use for our brand name, logo, and image? So, assuming the trademarks are available for registration, somebody hasn't already registered something that's confusingly similar, then yeah, you can do that. There used to be a rule within the USPTO where they would not register immoral or scandalous marks, but that for the most part got overturned back in 2019, I think. There's something having to do with the First Amendment, free speech, that kind of thing. So I think there's still some aspect of that. Like, we can't register outwardly terrible or offensive words as trademarks. But, boobs, I don't think is going to be considered that level. So assuming it's available, you can probably register a trademark for boobs or a logo that has U's that are meant to look like boobs. Trademarks are fun, you guys. We have a single owner LLC. Does the business's insurance policy need to be in the LLC name, or can it be in the owner's name? The important thing is that it covers the business itself, whatever kind of insurance, it covers the business. It should, I can't think of an instance why it would be in the individual owner's name. The insurance policy should be owned by the business. But if for some reason it's owned by the individual, that's not that big of a deal. The more important thing is that the insurance covers the business. Can the word media be trademarked? Can the word media be registered as a trademark? Yes and no. Assuming it's available for registration, somebody doesn't already have a registered trademark that's confusingly similar to that, you might be able to. It's going to depend on the goods and services with which you're using it. If you are operating a media company and you want to register media, that will most likely be seen as generic because media is a generic term and wouldn't be eligible for registration. Maybe on a good day, it might be just merely descriptive and wouldn't be eligible for registration on the principal register, but you might be able to get it on the supplemental register. If you're using it with something completely unrelated to media, then yeah, probably, assuming it's available for registration and assuming you're using it as a trademark. You can't just register a trademark to own a word. You have to be using it as a trademark, because this should become a drinking game. Anytime I say this thing I'm about to say, you have to take a drink. A trademark isn't a trademark unless it's a trademark. If I change my business name, must I change my EIN number too? Please, thank you. No, simply changing your business's name doesn't require a new EIN. You can just let the IRS know about it. You can write them a letter and let them know, here's the EIN, this was the old business name, here's the new business name. If you Google business name change EIN, I think the IRS's page is one of the first results that comes up. It tells you you don't need a new one, here's the address to let us know about it. Do you need to have your registered agent set up before you file your LLC? Yeah, you kind of do. It's kind of two concurrent things working at the same time. You don't have to have the registered agent set up first, but you do need the registered agent's consent before you file the documents to form the LLC. How do you suggest a person creates contracts? Are there lawyers that specialize in this? If so, how do I find them? Who should I look up? There are absolutely lawyers who specialize in this. I'm one of them. If your business is in Colorado, then you can contact me. Otherwise, I'd say look for a business lawyer, small business lawyer. In your state, business lawyers typically draft contracts. I'm trying to understand why we wouldn't be able to use money from the business if it's income as well. So how do you use the money from the net or on just what you want? This goes back to how the LLC or how the business is taxed versus liability with regard to an LLC or a corporation and piercing the corporate veil. The IRS doesn't care about how you're using business money. The IRS doesn't care if you're using business money to pay for your personal expenses. They will care if you're calling those personal expenses business expenses and trying to deduct them, but they don't care what account that's coming from. But if we're trying to avoid liability, personal liability, and uphold that liability protection, then that's where it comes into play. So again, I kind of said this already, but take that money for yourself, pay yourself a distribution or payroll if you are a corporation. Take that money into your personal account first, then use it for your personal uses. Business account, business purpose. Personal account, personal purpose. All right, you guys, there you have it. That's all for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed, because I sure had a lot of fun. Like I said, this might become a regular monthly thing. You guys asked so many great questions, and this is a fun way for me to respond to them, and we get to have some fun together. I might do some lives for this. I don't really like doing lives. I like being able to edit myself and Google answers if I don't know, because a lot of the answers to your questions are, I don't know. So I have to look things up sometimes, but maybe I'll do a live here and there. I don't know. Anyway, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think. And again, don't forget to check the description for links to additional information and resources. I'll link to some other videos that I kind of referred to in this one. I'm sorry Rocky didn't come downstairs. Poor guy's tuckered out from the beach this morning. Maybe next time we'll see him. At least we got a little cameo from Little Bird. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm Aiden Durham, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.